Let me tell you what you're not going to hear. You won't hear me complain about any of the translation discrepancies. You won't hear me talk about the 6-year development cycle, and you won't hear me compare it to Vanillaware's legacy of games. Hi, I'm Oni Blackmage, and today I'll be reviewing 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Please keep in mind this will be spoiler free, so let's begin the review. 13 Sentinels is primarily a visual novel experience that aims at being a unique and complex specimen within its own genre. Like the average visual novel, there is minimal player agency, as most of the gameplay involves absorbing the dialogue and events between characters, including inner monologues, while character routes are progressed by triggering specific story flags in the routes of other characters or battles. With the main draw of it being its story delivered in an adventure game format, it also chooses the very rare blend of the light real-time strategy battle mode to accompany it periodically throughout the story. What's most interesting about the story is not only the non-linear way by which it is told, but the multi-layered web of plot points it becomes the more you play. Whatever first impressions you think you have, and wherever you think the story is going, the game continually shows how little you know and yet satisfies you with what you have, all while surprising you with new and frequently unpredictable twists to constantly keep you intrigued. The narrative is designed in such a way that it's like a jigsaw puzzle, where each story chapter and battle adds one more piece towards building the big picture, and the constant gathering of information is so carefully measured to where the story has you where it wants you to be, while still allowing you enough control of choosing how to proceed next. It is impressive how there can be the smaller storyline you're playing, the larger story you think you're playing, and the complete story you're actually playing. By the end, the story is told well enough to where you can correctly predict the resolution to some mysteries, but there will be plenty of surprising resolutions you will not see coming. As the name suggests, there is an ensemble cast of 13 characters, each with their own storyline, and each one a main character in their own route. Each character not only has their own path of plots to uncover, but their story also supports the progress of others, and you will complete each single one by the end. Each character has roughly 7 chapters to the storyline, and while not every story carries the same amount of weight and focus, many have plots for just their character that are deep enough to be the plots of entire games made by other developers. You would think that with such a large cast it would be challenging to keep track of them all, yet while they all begin with deliberate anime trope personalities and sci-fi trope scenarios to work with, that is mainly to establish familiarity with the audience. None of the characters end the game the way they began, in more ways than one, as their own idiosyncrasies become more apparent and their development makes each character memorable by the end. Combined with the wild twist the story often takes to reveal or deceive, or sometimes both, the stakes you feel with many of the characters carry larger weight than normal. Visually, the game not only has a signature Vanillaware art style, but the gorgeous high-definition sprites for both the characters and Sentinels are animated in such a way to bring a surprising cinematic quality to many scenes. The large variety of expressive faces and poses for the sprites is enough to breathe life into the already great voice acting for all of the cast, dodging the easy trap most dialogue-heavy games fall into of having characters simply stand there and flatly deliver exposition to each other. For gameplay, there are 13 character storylines, each with 7 chapters, and 38 story battles. As you play the game, it paces itself in a fairly open and non-linear manner, meaning you can choose between advancing battles or advancing character storylines until you hit a story gate that requires a flag to be raised elsewhere in order to continue. Utilizing a keyword system, many times progress is tied to obtaining the right keyword and then applying it to the proper character, which the game already directs you to do. There is light deductive work that needs to occur in some scenarios, but nothing on the level of a traditional puzzle. The majority of chapters are very straightforward, as the scenes are small enough to not get lost in, and direction is usually clearly conveyed to where you know the one action you need to do in order to move forward. For battles, each character pilots their own specific mech called the Sentinel. There are 4 classes of Sentinel, and each class not only has their own strengths in battle such as long range, melee, or support, each Sentinel has a unique kit, so no 2, even in the same class, are identical. Sentinels may be upgraded as well as the power of their individual weapons, and only 6 abilities or weapons may be brought into battle. As they earn experience in battle, pilots gain perks that grant bonuses when certain circumstances or team-ups occur, giving small but frequent benefits. As a result, no one pilot or Sentinel is universally the best, and everyone shines as a team. Despite the in-game time for battles being 2 minutes, time pauses while selecting actions and turns, so each battle can really take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. For each mission, you are given a hint on the type of opposition to expect, and with a team up of 6 units, you will pick your front line to best match the strategy. Each pilot can only handle 2 or 3 battles before needing to sit out and recover, and this downtime forces you to constantly rotate your roster and experiment with different synergy. When battling, enemy variety is on the lighter side, though they do quickly evolve as the game goes on. The AI for the enemies is very basic, usually just beeline for the tower you must defend or spamming the same attack over and over. What it lacks in enemy complexity, it makes up for in sheer numbers, as most battles will require you to face waves of enemies composed of not only hundreds of smaller foes, but hard-hitting elites with a variety of moves, some matching that of your sentinels. Most battles are not memorable, but many will keep you on your feet, and you will not be able to just coast by with just one strategy or team. Still, most battles can be approached openly, so your decisions and coordination matter, and the final bosses of each wave are satisfying battles. The battle mode does not seem to be the primary focus of development, serving its purpose, but is not anything larger fans of strategy RPGs will find particularly attractive or innovative. During combat, the game features an overlay of the battlefield, with small brightly colored sprites representing units and enemies. While not the most visually exciting compared to the art and animation of attack previews, it serves its purpose tactically, and the sheer number of sprites on the screen at one time can be appropriately overwhelming. Even if you are not a fan of RTSs, the skill ceiling of the battles is lower than most, and you can adjust the difficulty mode at any time between easy, normal, or hard for your own enjoyment. While it's about a 70-30 split of the time you'll spend in the narrative remembrance mode versus the destruction battle mode, what I enjoy is that battles are not a distraction from the story. Each battle actually progresses the story or adds some unique character interactions you seldom see, while the final battles of each wave set provide significant plot points too. The game has a robust selection of music appropriate for setting the mood and theme, touching upon a few different genres of music to get the job done. I especially enjoy many of the battle themes, as there are about a dozen of them, so none get too stale, and the escalating intensity of some of them match their battles so well. In addition, the sound design is good, as background noise reflects everywhere from busy cities to desolate streets, and the sounds of combat, like the impact of a sentinel punching something, sounds great every time. Overall, playing on normal difficulty at a leisurely pace and not skipping or fast-forwarding scenes, the time it took me to beat the game was about 49 hours, and to get the platinum only took a few minutes longer for cleanup. It is well paced for its length and does not slow down nor leave you behind, as switching between battles and story prevents burnout. There is a very handy analysis section that not only keeps track of every tidbit of lore, information, or story point you have been through, but it also has an overall timeline to simply and clearly track everything. This game walks a very fine line of complexity and absurdity, and yet does not lose its balance, which already sets it apart from many other games that seek such ambitious stories, much less weaving it together with their battles to make each encounter meaningful. The adventure game choice allows focus to be on the things that matter, and there is no sense of filler or padding to bloat the experience. When writing unconventional narratives and complex stories, it's too often we see the end product trip on itself in a frustrating manner. Either it struggles to maintain audience interest, or it pretentiously wears its esoteric label as a badge of pride, and here, the game has elegantly navigated past the normal trappings, which could not have been easy. While a unique blend of visual novel and RTS elements makes this a tough game to recommend to anyone, if you are a fan of story-rich games, especially flavored with a lot of sci-fi, more so than anime, this is easily one of the best choices and journeys you can have. Fans of pop culture sci-fi or anime should also give us a look, though it is written more smartly than its references suggest. The beautiful aesthetics, large cast of deeply written characters, engaging and fun battle sections all complement one of the most complex yet well-landed plots, all delivered in a fresh and painless way. The polish and meticulous care of this game far outweighs the small flaws presented in the visual, storytelling, or combat departments, as 13 Sentinels has established itself as a new quality metric within its genre, and a reference point for its successful narrative design even beyond itself. Fun, fascinating, and fulfilling, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is an exceptional title that may not make mainstream acclaim, but is a silent giant that should not be missed. Thank you so much for watching this review, I hope it helped, and if you would like to hear story summaries of other story-rich RPGs, check out a series I also produce called Recapitation. Enjoy, and I'll see you on the next battlefield.